you got some ankle support. If you want the number, it's 1-800, nobody is stopping that boy. I got the game on the string.
It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Okay, basketball fans, with me, Kenny the Jet Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, I'm Ernie Johnson. You're watching 2K Sports, but you know that already.
Welcome to 2K Sports. We have the NBA coming up. Great to have you with us. This is Kevin Harlan alongside Brent Barry and Greg Anthony. We've got David Aldridge reporting from the sideline. The crowd here in anticipation of their home team Cavaliers in an interconference battle here at the Quicken Loans Arena. Now the starting group for the visitors. Trevor Booker is out there with Carter. Then it's Rajon Rondo. Then it's Zach Randolph. And it's Brewer in at the 2. Now here's Gasol. The kick out to Young. Thompson the bounce pass. Ball. No good with the triple. Carter with it. He's averaging around 5.5 points a game. To the inside. And Thompson sends it back. And he recovers it. And it's good. 2 points. Gone 0 of 2 from deep here. Ball kicks to Gasol. And it's Rajon Rondo with the foul. That is his first foul of the game. One last timeout these days, both in the final 3 minutes of regulation, Brent, and overtime. Do you see any impact in close games so far with that?
Yeah, I think coaches now have to be very diligent and very selective about when it is they want to stop the game, Kevin. As you know, that timeout also allows you to advance the ball. And we saw it last year with this being sort of the lab for it. Many coaches who took timeouts that cost them chances on a free throw, where normally we would see the advancement of the ball, they had to go full court. So teams are still examining how they want to run the last 3 minutes, what they want to do with the timeouts, and it makes for a lot more drama if the game is closer. Plus, that's for sure.
I like having these coaches having to make big decisions like that, too.
I like it, too, because you like to see just how good the coaches are and then how many players can carry out maybe something that has a counteraction or some kind of slip screen where they execute something that carries over from clipboard to hardwood.
Yeah, scoreless here early after their first 4 shots. They right now are searching for a bucket.
Well, the D did their job there. Excellent contest to alter the close ranger.
They need a good offensive possession.
Yeah, they've gone a long time without a bucket.
Well, that's a healthy make there after missing their first 4 shots. 1 of 5, not what they wanted, but they're on the board.
Now here's Rondo, and now Ball pushing it up. No one back to stop him.
I really like the activity level from Ball. Excels at reading his man and jumping all over him, and great at coming up with those steals.
Rondo against Ball, and the officials will call the illegal screen right there. Now let's quickly bring up the list of point guards whose steal totals in the second half of the season have really been standing out. Lonzo Ball third.
And with these guys, they are always going to give you an equally outstanding effort at both ends of the floor. I mean, it takes very aggressive defense to put up steal numbers like that.
Well, proactive style of defense is one thing, but using your smarts is another. They've got great anticipation of where that ball is going on any given play. They've read the scouting report.
And on our sideline, our reporter, David Aldridge.
I was able to talk with Dave Yeager for a minute. He told me this is a fun night trying to slow down a team that's so smart and opportunistic. He said, look, we've scouted them, but this is the first time we've actually seen them this season. So it will be interesting to see if we can disrupt their offense and slow them down just a little bit. Back to you, Kevin.
Thanks, David. Well, they're aware of how difficult an opponent this is to defend. A lot of good shooters they have to deal with.
Which means being extra active with their perimeter deep. Fighting through screens, quick switches, all the little things they need to do to prevent those open looks.
Yeah, that's right, Greg. I expect a lot of movement defensively. They have to be reacting, and like a watch, rotating all night long.
How about the vision from the crafty little guard? Young excels at realizing when his guys have clean looks. Yeah, it's a good time to talk things over. Try to stop what's been a brutal run.
Yeah, he's got to use every device at his disposal at this point, and I think he wants to give other guys a breather right now.
Only 5 games left in the season. Let's quickly take a look at how the playoff field is going to stack up out east. You take a look at the Pacers. What a run they've had this year. In first place and charging seemingly at will toward the postseason. These guys have been outstanding. And, of course, the Cavaliers, a couple spots below.
And seeing where the Cavaliers are, you know, this happens every year. A team outperforms expectations early. You wonder, is this just an anomaly or is this something they can sustain?
Well, it could be hard for them to keep this rolling, but the initial boost of confidence for all these players could help them weather any storms on the horizon.
Here's Booker after the made shot from Jonas Valanciunas. And Booker kicks to Rondo. Down to 5 on the shot clock. That one drops for him. Rondo's got his first points of the night.
And you get into the painted area. Rondo's got great touch on the inside.
Young outside. Pass the ball. Lobbed up there for Thompson. And the ball goes out of bounds. Last touch by Ball.
That is just a careless turnover. You've got to be smarter in those exchanges.
At the end of one, a closely contested game so far. Cavaliers lead. You may not remember Vince Carter traded on draft night for his college.
So as I'm sitting back there, it's like there's been a...
The 5th and 6th picks in the draft, both of them went on to great careers.
And draft day trades happen all the time, but being traded for your college teammate, a pick apart, that's pretty unique.
And it's been a pretty even game here after 1 quarter of play. What stands out to you from the Cavaliers in this one?
Through that first one, they've turned this thing into a track meet.
Love the pace they're playing with. Anytime you can get your offense going without the defense setting up, got a huge advantage.
Zach Randolph is out there with Trevor Booker. Then it's Corey Brewer. And it's Rajon Rondo. And it's Carter in at the 3, the small forward. Randolph can't hit.
And he completely threw the timing off on that jumper. That is how you D up.
Playing with tremendous aggressiveness without fouling. It's an excellent job.
I tell you, it's unorthodox to watch, but Ball shoots the ball with tremendous rhythm and confidence from beyond.
Now, here's Brewer. Kicks it to Randolph. Sinks that one from the post. Randolph's got his first points of the game.
And boy, did he ever sell the pump fake. Worked to absolute perfection.
The Memphis Grizzlies, going into last season, retired Zach Randolph's number 50. Brent, talk about what he meant to that franchise and what it meant to him.
Well, he was just such a perfect fit for the idea of the grit and the grind and the mentality that the Memphis team had through the years with Dave Yeager as the coach and the kind of playoff success that they had. Perfect in his style, perfect in his personality, perfect in his professionalism. And there's a reason why number 50 hangs up in Memphis. Zach Randolph, a true pro.
And you know, by now, I don't think there's much question. Mark and his brother Powell are the best 1-2 brother punch in NBA history. How about over 30,000 points combined?
Now here is Carter. We're now about 2 minutes into the second quarter. And 2 free throws coming up, unable to get that one to go with all the contact. They get Marc Gasol. When it comes to veteran players, Brent, on a team, what characteristics make for a good leader for a bunch of young guys under him?
We talk a lot about veteran guys on teams, Kevin, and I think one of the most important aspects to think about is that those veterans have a lot more impact if they're still part of playing minutes for a coaching staff. At some point, 4 or 5 months into a season, when an older player is telling you how to do something and only get a chance to see it during practice or him pointing it out on film when you're playing, doesn't have as much of an impact.
Doesn't resonate
right.
as much.
When a guy gets 15 minutes a night and you get to see him do those things as a young player from the bench and say, wow, everything he told me on my list, he's checked all those boxes. So having a vet that plays, much more impactful.
Good point.
Oh, and the D did not make that any easier. Can't fault the shooter for missing. That's a tough shot.
Good on the three-point shot.
Really clever with the basketball. Young's so advanced offensively. Excellent pull-up jumper there.
Rondo passes to Brewer. The shot by Carter. Nobody around. Drills it from outside. Carter's got 5 now.
And they may be leaning a little too heavily on the three-pointer when there are better looks to be had inside.
Shooting foul as the whistle blows. He'll shoot 2 free throws.
I tell you what, he earned his money on that foul.
The Cavaliers shooting their 3rd and 4th free throw attempts of the game. Valanciunas hits them both.
As we've gotten closer to halftime, their style has become more and more physical.
Rondo with the ball. Now guarded by Ball. Rondo finds Randolph. Young with the steal. And the Cavaliers pushing it up now. Young's running. The offensive rebound. Ball with the bucket. He's got 10.
There's just a feel that Ball plays with that really separates him from so many other players. He's superb at finding ways here to score in the paint.
2 free throws coming up, and they call the shooting foul. Free throw good, Randolph. And Zach Randolph drops them both.
Yeah, in this quarter, they've had the right approach, driving and drawing, initiating contact, create opportunities, get to the line.
Now, here's Valanciunas. And looking at his production, he averages a little more than 7 points a game. And Gasol gets it to go.
And he knows how to make good use of his size in that low block. And Gasol's inside game is very refined. There's a smoothness to how he approaches.
From 12 feet out. And he didn't get quite enough under that one.
The inside just a bit too...
All right, David, thank you. And stay with us, folks. We'll be back just after halftime.
It's the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
For the Cavaliers. And, big fella, let's get your thoughts on the home team.
Well, they really dictated the pace of the game with their transition game. They got out on the break every chance they had, and the time they could push the tempo, they did. And a lot of times it kept the defense scrambling.
And it's just about time.
And if you're just joining us in this one, first half is in the books, 1 half to go. We're seeing a tremendous game from Lonzo Ball.
And through 2 quarters, surprising how aggressive he was offensively.
You know what? That guy's not going to hurt us. Don't worry about him. Boom. Supporting role, and then he puts some points on you. They better make an adjustment.
They've got Marc Gasol. Young is out there with Ball. Then it's Thompson, and it's Valanciunas in at the center position. And that's the group for Fred Hoiberg as we begin the second half.
Well, with Tristan's motor and that kind of reach, great job on finishing off the alley-oop.
Here's Ball. Sinks that one from the post. Ball's got 12 points in the game. 47%, pretty solid. Here's Rondo. Bank shot, no good. The Cavaliers leading by 13. Here's Young. Second shot opportunity. Doesn't go that time. Some solid defense from Randolph. Rondo against Ball. A floater, Randolph. Good. And it's Rondo who picks up the assist. 6 points for Zach Randolph.
Yeah, the fundamentals Zach showed there were terrific. Good at using his body there in the pick and roll.
And it's Gasol penetrating. Back to Young. Buries the long-range jumper.
The defense looked lost there. Get out your compass. No excuses. You got to guard the perimeter.
And a timeout called by Dave Yeager.
And a wise move to call timeout there. They need to settle down a bit. They've been playing out of control at times here, and it shows with their turnover numbers.
Only 5 games left on the season. Let's quickly take a look at how the playoff field is stacking up out west. Look at Utah. They've got their eye on the #1 seed as the season moves into the final stretch. Currently first place in the standings, and guys showing no signs of letting up. Not really any threat right now, as their record showing a lot more losses. Now, here's Brewer. Count it, and the Cavalier lead has been cut down to 12 on the bucket from Zach Randolph.
Well, embrace the contact while you're shooting. Tough to do, but not for Zach Randolph, given his experience.
Zach Randolph, a paragon of consistency over his career. In his prime, a nightly 20 and 10 guy, and still producing.
Gone 2 of 3 from the field to start the second half. Rondo kicks to Randolph. 1:49 left in the third. And the Memphis Grizzlies retiring Randolph's number 50 going into last season.
And helped forge an identity for that team and really made them relevant. I mean, he's played on a handful of teams, but I think Memphis was that match made in heaven.
Now, here is Young. 12 points for him. At the elbow, it's Thompson. And stolen by Booker. Carter against Gasol. Randolph passes to Brewer. Pass to Booker. 5 on the clock. And, yep, that's going to be a flagrant foul. Unnecessary contact.
Boy, a very hard foul that time, and the officials had to slap him with the flagrant. I mean, you can't let him get away with that kind of contact.
Yeah, gee, that's an easy call for the officials to make when there's that much contact. The league is really cracking down on those sort of plays. Here's Brewer. Outside Rondo. The pass to Booker. Over Young. No good from Booker. The Cavaliers leading by 13. To the inside. And it's Valanciunas that time on the assist by Gasol. And that's now 6 points for Valanciunas. Passes it to Carter. Randolph inside. Guarded by Valanciunas. Randolph can't hit.
And forcing the miss there, he just knows how to pressure you defensively.
You hear a lot about rim protection. This is a good example of how valuable it can be.
Just his night, guys. We saw Young do this in college. Once he gets into a rhythm, he will just put it on you.
Now, here's Brewer. He kicks it to Randolph. Over Valanciunas. Randolph's shot is good. Randolph's got 7 points here in this quarter.
Not a stellar first half, but he's become an absolute machine scoring the ball in the second.
Shots good from Young.
And nice little floater right there. Give Young credit. He's developed the shots he needs to overcome his size limitations.
Here's Randolph. And the last shot before the buzzer is off. And so it's the home team feeling good about their 17. And now let's go back to a play from earlier as we show you our State Farm assist of the game.
And, you know, you can always count on him for at least a couple of these pretty assists over the course of a game. And this one, a thing of beauty.
Sometimes it happens when the offense is struggling, but every now and then this helps with the offensive uptick right there. Great job of setting his teammate up.
And 1 quarter to go in a game that to this point has not been an evenly fought contest. All fueled up and ready to go. Let's reset the lineups courtesy of Gatorade for the 4th quarter. Brewer is out there with Rajon Rondo. And there's Carter. Then it's Zach Randolph. And it's Booker in at the 4-man position. Here is Brewer. After the made shot from Jonas Valanciunas. No good from Booker.
A good board there, Kevin, but overall they're getting slightly out-rebounded.
Young taking his time here. 43% from the floor. Pass to Brewer. Lets a floater go. Young with the steal. And he stepped in the line, so they turn it over. And a timeout called by Dave Yeager. Without question, Trae Young displaying his skills today.
And he's on fire from beyond the arc there. It's time to start shaping their game plan around stopping this long-range assault.
Last season, Brent, the addition of 2-way contracts Does that make developing players in the G League even more valuable than it was before?
I believe last year, Kevin, that almost 50% of the players in the league, and might have been a smidge more, had some kind of G League experience.
That's terrific.
And that's phenomenal.
Yes.
We're almost close to the 30 for 30 affiliation in the G League. You saw a success story last year in Quinn Cook coming up and getting a contract with the Warriors. This is awesome for the league. They've also upped the minimum contract for G League players to $35,000. All of these signs and the way that teams are using the G League, extremely positive, Kevin.
Adam Silver has said there's probably more basketball being watched and played, Brent, in China than anywhere else in the world. How long before you think we see our next Chinese superstar in this league?
That's going to be interesting when that does happen. Obviously, the type of mark that Yao Ming made in the NBA, it's going to be hard for anybody to match the kind of impact, not just in the game, but what he did globally for the NBA. It just won't happen again. But I'm looking forward to, heck, not just the next Chinese player, but the Japanese player, somebody from India where they love the NBA game, to start to find their way onto rosters in the league.
They're coming. I mean, there's going to be someone before long.
No doubt.
Just a bright, young, offensive talent. Young isn't shy about forcing the action. Takes a lot of trips to the line.
Now here's Booker over Thompson. A nice shot by Booker. And we're around 2 minutes into the fourth quarter here. Young finds Gasol. Back to Young. Now Carter. Here's Brewer. They get it back. Booker changes up, and it's good on the layup.
Defensively, you cause the miss, but then you have to corral it.
Well, that's the second part of the equation there. Block out, be aggressive, and control the glass.
Now, here is Young to the left side wing. Rondo against Ball. 5 on the clock. It's Young on the wing. Here's Thompson, and he banks in the layup.
And this is what they wanted. I mean, to announce their presence in this matchup with authority, very decisive. It can definitely be considered a statement win for the Cavaliers.
Their superior ball handling won it for them.
And fewer turnovers equals greater scoring opportunities. Any coach will tell you that. If you take care of the ball every possession, and this is a perfect example of what happens when you do.
And for the year now, they'll be tallying their 16th win. And we watched one guy all night long, guys, and looking at the stats just confirms what a dominant game he had. What a night tonight it was for Trae Young.
Now, he was remarkable, absolutely destroyed the opposition. Any matchup he had tonight, it felt like he was going to dominate.
Looking at who's out there now for the Cavaliers. Taj Gibson's checked in for Tristan Thompson. McDermott comes in for Marc Gasol. And Alec Burks subbed in for Lonzo Ball.
And saving their best for last. Tremendous run here to seal the win.
And you could just see everything coming together like a perfect storm, and they just rolled on through.
And there's the foul. It goes on Taj Gibson. That's his first foul. Cunningham, he's checked in for Booker. That free throw missing. Ball's checked in for Young. Good on the second free throw.
Not a perfect trip to the free throw line, but they'll take what they can get at this point.
This has been a one-sided affair.
Yeah, they've done a nice job of extending their lead and maintaining that intensity level.
Now here's McDermott. 6-second difference between the shot and game clock. 5 to shoot. Here's Valanciunas, and it's Valanciunas finishing it off.
And you can tell they're ready to start celebrating a well-deserved victory here tonight.
Yeah, you can see the fans. They've already started celebrating themselves. A gutty performance.
We see the Cavaliers get the win here. They won this game going away. They were the better basketball. All right, David, great job. Thanks so much. And that about wraps it up. For Brent Barry, Greg Anthony.